I'm standing on the edge of this cliff and I'm overlooking this abyss, and everything is black. And it's so black that it sucks you. It's like pulling at you, yanking you. Do I want to have kids and be the alcoholic drunk dad who's never present for them, who doesn't really know what's going on? I believe anyone who sincerely seeks guidance, they will find Allah. They will find God, the most merciful. And I want people to understand something real quick. And this is a note to the listener and those Christians who are out there who are watching. Let it be known that my story and my recollection of my story is not meant to be a source of hatred or an attempt to mock the faith of those who do believe in the Bible. My story is meant to elevate your relationship with the blessed Messiah Jesus and to put him and your love for him in its proper place. It's meant for us to love what he loved and to do what he did. When I was standing there in prayer that day, I quietly called upon, under my breath, the one true God of Abraham. I always felt growing up that so many people have a deficiency when it comes to their relationship with God the Father, right? The one who created Jesus, the one who Jesus cried to. I was really into just being as respectful as I could to God, always. And that was something really important for me. Allah knows all this stuff, but he wants us to converse with him, to talk to him, to share with him, even though Allah knows everything. One of the best, most memorable, transformative times of my life where I actually sat down and reflected. I had this moment where I was just so shooken, like, holy crap, Jesus is not God. I came to the conclusion that Jesus is not God, but he's my brother, and I'm going to follow him until the day that I die. People who are addicts, alcoholics, drug addicts, sex addicts, game addicts, whatever addicts, right? A lot of things they struggle with is getting discipline in the face of their addiction. Stay on speak. Just try one drink. Just try one drink and see if you can be okay. I just had one drink, and I only had one drink, and I was like, see, Brandon, you are good. You're all right. You can be okay.
Oh no. Oh no.
2 years later,
Oh no.
so no, I never got in trouble with the law again after this, but I did keep increasing back into the amount. Do not try detoxing your own family members. Get them proper, adequate medical help. You're one of the best people that I know when you're sober, but when you're drunk, you're a miserable asshole. Do I want to have kids and be the alcoholic drunk dad who's never present for them, who doesn't really know what's going on? I said, who do I follow? Do I follow Jesus or do I follow Pastor Randy? I'm going to follow Jesus. And so I put my head down right there at my home and I asked God to guide. And in that moment, I thought I had died. I thought that my soul had left my body. It was such a completely foreign experience to anything I have ever experienced in my life to this day. And it is still the strongest memory of any memory when I think back upon my life. And at the beginning, when I was there, I saw myself as if I was in third person. And when I say I thought I died, it was because it is as real. My experience of it was not like a dream. You know, whether I fell asleep or whatever happened, God knows best. And I'm standing on the edge of this cliff and I'm overlooking this abyss, and everything is black. And it's so black that it sucks you. It's like pulling at you, yanking you. There's this light that is hugging, permeating every fiber of my being. And I said, God, I want this. I want you. Even if I don't get married, even if I don't have kids, even if I'm poor, if whatever I'll go through in life, I want this. I knew in my heart that God was truly and only one. And I had this yaqeen, which is certainty that without doubt, more true than me existing, that God is one. And he's real. And then I saw this seat sitting in the sky, in the clouds. And this wasn't for God, right? It was for a person. But nobody was sitting there at this time. and it was told to me. It wasn't in words. It was like written in my heart. This is the Dajjal.
The
Okay.
Dajjal.
And the Dajjal, which is the Masih Dajjal. And so the fact that I opened up exactly to this spot, to this page, and God is telling me, this is a warning, this is a reminder for a people who their forefathers were not warned, really solidified everything. And I recognize that this was what I've always been searching for. I do a little bit, God does the rest. And I will, for the rest of my life, dedicate who I am towards calling people to this same peace, the same bliss that I myself experienced. For me, it was like Abraham. I will go through the fire for you, Allah, because every single thing that you've given me in my life, I don't deserve it. And you deserve all praise and all thanks. I'm here to please my Lord. And if other people are happy with me in the process, then welcome. If the one and only God tells you to follow the Prophet Muhammad and you don't, are you actually submitting to God? Or are you disobeying God? It would only make sense that Allah would give rationally a human a message who is of the best of the society, so that way we know we can trust him. If somebody came and they were a cheater, a liar, and they did all this bad stuff, and they're like, hey, I'm a messenger from God, follow me and follow this book, I'm not going to follow that guy because he's not a role model for me. Obey Allah and obey the messenger and those in authority among you. Should you disagree on anything, then refer it back to Allah and his messenger if you truly believe in Allah on the last day. It's very easy to prove that the Quran is not from the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And even during his lifetime, none of the disbelievers believed that he wrote it. They knew that he didn't write it. Non-Muslims have taken at Oxford and other places, have looked at the statements of the Prophet Muhammad and the way that he uses certain amount of words, what words he uses, the frequency of using certain words. It is completely different than how the Quran is composed, right?
I was like, oh my gosh, I want to become a Muslim. Like, I get it. A Muslim is like, the first day I even found out what Muslim meant, like you submit to the will of God, I was like Googling it. I was even streaming and I was like, oh, that's what the word means.
The Sunnah is the hikmah. It's the wisdom. It's the things of teaching us the details of how to do separate things. And it helps us to understand the Quran. He was the best role model, the best father, the best son, the best brother, the best, judge. The Prophet, peace be upon him, we have his actions. Whenever this happened, he would stay in sujood longer just so his grandkids could play, so that he didn't get up and hurt. This is like the awesome mercy things that we learn. What we have with Islam is we have an unbroken chain of authentic sayings that we can prove go back to the Prophet, peace be upon him, who we also know was a truthful person, and there's no disconnection. Imam Bukhari was a Sunni, but he said, I will take from people, even if they're theological differences, as long as they are known to be truthful and upright in their.
On the day of the battle of Uhud, a man came to the Prophet and said, can you tell me where I will be if I should get martyred? The Prophet replied, in paradise. The man threw away some dates he was carrying in his hand and fought till he was martyred.
There is no terrorism and killing innocent people. Prophet, peace be upon him, said, do not seek, and this is also in Bukhari, Islam is not about being oppressors and just going and hurting everybody, but it's also not a religion of wussies and cowards. Paradise is under the shade of swords. So it's to tell you, like, look, be a man, stand up for what's right. If you're in the midst of battle, know that the best thing that you can do is be patient. If you die, then you will have a high station. If, right, Hamas did this and they shot innocent civilians, then we condemn that, right? Fighting has been something that's part of human history, whether people like it or not, since the beginning of time. It's not adultery if Allah says you can sleep with women who are your captives in war. But if they don't want to sleep with you, then you don't sleep with them. You don't force yourselves upon them. If a woman does not want to sleep with you and you hurt her, you cause her bodily harm if you rape her, then you will be accountable to this in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's saying that you can sleep with the woman that you have taken as your right-hand possession, and there's no sin upon you. This is not adultery. This is not wrong, right? It's saying that this is permission that has been granted to the believers, and this is Allah's wisdom, right? Just because someone holds an opinion does not necessitate that it's true. Brandon, the Muslim cowboy,
I say that, but
not from pedophilia. First of all, we're talking about marriage. So the family has to be involved. in Islam. I mean, I know in non-Muslims, they can get married without their father's permission. The family has to be involved. The woman has to be baligh. She has to be of puberty. Once she has that ability to bear children, then she's ready to be a mother, because this is at the end of the day, if someone's an atheist and they have a problem with it, then this goes down to the biological level. At the end of the day, a lot of people, you have to be able to separate emotional arguments from true logical arguments. If you ask somebody something looking to seek understanding, then you're going to find understanding and you'll understand people.
I just want to understand why the Muslims went to war. I want to understand his marriage of Aisha, and the women he married, and apparently his character.
Certainty is something that even if you are wrong, you still have it, right? Don't follow your feelings. Feelings are good for signs, but follow your rationale, okay? Because so many people, Grayson, have followed their feelings, and when you follow just your feelings blindly, then you're for sure going to be misguided. If a person is truly sent from God, then they are the most truthful person, right? And they are sent with God's authority to tell us how to be. Why would someone, qui bono, who benefits? What is the benefit of someone who's not telling the truth about them being a prophet of God? If you put the sun in one hand and the moon in another hand, I will never, meaning you give me the whole world, right? You give me everything. I will never leave what Allah has commanded me to do. Someone quenched the thirst of a dog, and this prostitute went to heaven just because of that, even though she dedicated her life towards committing adultery. And she made this act of mercy towards this dog, and she worshiped God alone. And so God, he granted her paradise. He taught his followers that the most merciful people on earth will be shown mercy by the most merciful. So he said, do mercy to people on earth, so that the most merciful, who's above the heavens, will show mercy to you. The biggest honor in the entire world is for yourself, and I would be honored as well as if you're my brother one day. So I ask you to keep searching. If you're not ready, keep looking, and I hope one day to embrace you as my brother in faith.
It's Grayson here. I have a message for you, and the message will be different based on the fact if you're fat or if you're not fat. Anyways, I'm Grayson Brock, a 21-year-old kid from Texas. I'm just like you, except one day I stopped smiling and I said, you know what? I'm gonna change my life for the better. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. And I continue to wake up on the wrong side of the bed every single day because I'm that guy that was in the chat. Anyways, if you'd like to directly support free speech and the continued documentation of my life, you can click the first link below and purchase me a coffee. And if you're fat, use that money to get a personal trainer instead. Don't click the first link below if you're fat. W's in the chat.